Well, folks, I didn't think I'd be making another one of these class rants. But here we are. I guess I should have just never had any expectations going forward and just expected to make at least one of these a year. But here we are. This, I will happily say, folks, is the last one. Because I am graduated. Woo! And at the time of the video going up, I will be. Not quite the time I'm recording it, but pretty much there. But yeah, this class was something I wasn't expecting to make a video about, and again, like I said, in all of my other ones, don't go harass this guy, don't find him, don't do anything to him. I'm gonna say enough here. Don't harass him. I'm not gonna name drop either, so don't bother wondering for that. But here we go. This class was for my history sports class, an elective. I just needed the credits. The class looked interesting. I mean, it's fucking history of sports. I mean, what you can't really go wrong there as a sports nerd like me. So I thought, oh, this will be good. This will be a fun class, an easy grade, just to get me to the end. Quite the contrary. I got a good grade. It was pretty easy to get the grade. I got the credit, but it wasn't fun. Get to that now here in a little bit. The big part is the professor. He was so lazy. So lazy. He honestly to me gave off drug dealer vibes. He was very hyperactive, paced around a lot, didn't really like talking to anybody, didn't have a really large footprint, didn't really have any footprint at all, digital or paper footprint. He wouldn't talk about anything outside of the bare minimum, so that gave off just very sketchy vibes to me. And I read his reviews on Rate My Professor, some people also had the same idea. What was also weird to me is every class, we had about, I'm going to say 28 classes because a couple of them were canceled. Every time he wore a different t-shirt or sweatshirt from a different 5K or marathon. Guess this guy's a huge runner? I don't know. He seems pretty lazy to me, but pretty wild that he had enough shirts to make one different each class period. He also had a trademark line, and it's going to stick with me for as long as I shall live. Okay, let's go. Say that every day. Every day. Without fail. Because he loved discussions. Not necessarily discussions that would further stuff along, but discussions that would then take up class time so that he could just sit on his phone or not have to talk or whatever. Because most of the time the discussions really didn't mean anything. But we had to do them anyways, or had to do them. I never really participated in them. Sometimes we had to do a little bit of groups, but also we had to get in the big circles. In a rectangular room! This! You can't put a circle through this! Wonder if he was, sitting at home on his easy chair with the thing, the shape thing, trying to peg a circle into a square! Or, instead of that, he would have us make these really stupid videos in class and say it was for a grade. It was not for a grade. It was for extra credits. Extra credit that he never gave out. He always promised extra credit. Or a group that, had the best video would be exempt from an assignment or something. Never gave that out. Half the time, he never even picked his favorite like he said he was going to do. Okay. Just why even say it in the first place? Oh, but then nobody would do it. Yeah. As if nobody wants to make a funky video you're going to get off to. Just say it was for your own personal pleasure. God. That's what it was. It was really dumb. And he was always super stingy about it too. You want to make sure everybody participated. He was promising a participation grade, so that's a huge part of your grade. I never talked to this guy outside of one fucking day, and we'll get to that later. And I got 100% on my participation grade. Explain that, liberals. He also said that he also took attendance for 4 weeks. Then just stopped taking attendance until the last week and a half of class. Which, again, we'll get to that a little bit later because those were the presentation days and he wanted to make sure everybody was there, so he took attendance. Whatever. But he just stopped taking attendance partway through the semester and also said he was going to show participation in attendance grades to make sure everybody was up to speed and could catch up if they needed to, and then didn't until the last 2 weeks to go, when nobody had a chance to catch up if they needed to, which I don't know how the fuck you're not when he's just giving out fucking straight A's to everybody. But then the class material too. I'll put this out there right now. Day 1 of class. This was back in January. He is going over the class structure and whatnot, and he says, if you thought that this was a class where you could just get an easy A, thought it was going to be a straight pass through, you think wrong. This is not a Mickey Mouse class. He said that. What I found out pretty early on, but especially now, it was a Mickey Mouse class. 100%. None of the material he presented was his own, but he said it was his own. Whenever we referenced a lecture and an assignment for a works cited, we had to put his name on it. But it definitely wasn't his. You know how I know it wasn't his? There was several points of material that were not even pertaining to the class. There were assignments in the syllabus that had nothing to do with the class. There were pictures, videos, lecture slides. He would skip half of lectures because he just didn't care enough and just didn't want us to see that he was copying another professor's work. The D2L page was so unorganized. There was stuff from week 8 that were in week 1, stuff from week 1 that was in week 13, and there was nothing in the week 10 folder. What do you mean there's nothing in the week 10 folder? And he was always creating, editing, or deleting assignments on the fly. These random video assignments, those were just random ass shit that he threw in at the last minute. There were 4 assignments that were originally on the D12 page and on the syllabus that we never ever talked about. There was stuff that he would mention in a class and then would never mention again. He always said he was maybe going to throw in a pop quiz for these readings. Never did that. This guy doesn't even know the definition of a quiz. His exams, we'll get to the... No, we'll get to that in a minute. None of this stuff was his own. It was all plagiarized. There were readings. For the final exam, there was a reading that we were supposed to cite in our thing. It was just never there. It disappeared. I don't know where the fuck it went, but it was gone. I triple checked everything looking for it. Could not find it. Speaking of the exams, this guy loved long papers that were walls of text. Just walls of text. And most of it didn't make any sense. Most of it was filler. Was he paid to put these in there? Probably. And he would... And so we had 3 review essays. And then the exams... I said exams. They were exams. But they were not actually fucking exams. They were just similar. They were the same format as these papers. Then we had less time to write. And then most of the time, he would copy stuff from the review essays. He would copy questions and then paste them onto the other thing. 2 excerpts from the final exam were literally copied and pasted from review essays. So you know what I did? Control-Z, Control-V, Control-Z, Control-V. If you're going to copy and paste shit so your lazy ass doesn't have to do anything, I'm going to do the same thing too, bitch. He also didn't use most of the materials that he posted. He didn't. Like a textbook, for example. A textbook that in the syllabus said we did not need it at all. It was recommended, but it said we wouldn't need it. Every class, he said we had to read the textbook, read your chapter, read your fucking chapters. And then said the exams and the papers, we could reference the textbook if we wanted to. You know, it's a required material, source it, whatever. Never, ever read a single word on that textbook. Didn't buy it. Don't have it. Don't care. I got a good grade in the class and didn't even use it once. So why are you saying we need to read it? Or how about your readings that are just, like I said, mislabeled, misorganized? Here's what we talked about in class. First month of the class was about boxing. Never met a more passionate boxer fan than this guy. Second part was about football. But not the fun part of football, the boring part of football from the 1950s. Third part, women's sports. That was actually pretty interesting. Fourth part, steroids. We spent like 2 days on that. There was stuff in there about the Black Sox scandal from 1919. That was cool. Never talked about that. There was stuff in there for others. I don't remember what else was in there. There was a lot of other cool stuff in there. We just never went over it. Because again, it wasn't his stuff. This was completely stolen from a different professor. And he didn't know what to do with it because it wasn't his own. He also many times would say blatant lies about sports facts to further along his lectures. Mostly just, again, him reading off the slides. For no fucking reason. Well, there was one in particular. It was a Kahoot near the end of class. It was, what was the last team to win back-to-back NCAA basketball championships? The answer on one of the answers on there was UConn 2023-2024. Of course, everybody knows that they went back-to-back. So you click that answer. It was wrong. Because this fucking Kahoot was from 2022 and he just copied and pasted shit over. He edits the answers, but doesn't edit what answer's right. What are you doing? But even with all that, I still wasn't going to make a video on this guy. I really didn't want to make another one of these. I kind of just wanted to put it to rest. You know, there's a lot of other stupid classes that I didn't make videos about. Just because I didn't want to, didn't think it was necessary. But the reason why I wanted to make a video on this guy was because of the final project. Because, tell you what, it's one of the most fucked up final projects I have ever been a part of. It was a group project, which was nice. Nothing against my group. They were nice people. Did the work they needed to do. It wasn't a super hard project either with the divvying up. You just had to make a presentation and write another essay. Essay number 6 of the semester. But, you know, divvying it up wasn't bad. We got it done on time. Did what we needed to do. Blah, blah, blah. Where it really starts to go to shit was on presentation days. The last 3 classes were all reserved for presentations. There were supposed to be 9 of them because there were 9 topics. So you do 3 on one day, 3 on the next day, 3 on the next day. Makes sense, right? Not to this guy, apparently, because there were not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 extra groups that were formed at the last second. Because so many people started skipping his class because he was boring as shit. The class was at 8:30 in the morning on a Monday, and he doesn't communicate anything, so nobody knew about the project. I got an email from a student after the first set of presentations. We were a week to go in the class. I got an email from a student saying, "Hey, are you in a group? I want to do this topic. Let's get back to me so we can start collaborating." The fuck are you doing? Then he talked about this 3 fucking months ago. So yeah, 4 extra groups. What does that mean? 4 extra presentations. Not enough topics, so people start doubling up on fucking topics. They did 2 of the same topic back to back. What the fuck? So of course, he did, but of course he knew about these extra groups before the presentation started. So with 13 groups, you would think you do 4 one day, 4 the next day, 5 the last day. It's stretching it on time, but we could get it in. Nope. We did 3 the first day, 3 the second day, and 6 the last day. 7! He tried to backlog 7 groups for the last day. We got through 5 of them. Class was already over. It goes till 9:50. It was 9:57 when the last group finished. The 5th group of the day finished. There were still 2 groups that had to go. Class is over. All we have left to do is the final exam. We're not coming back. But he's like, yeah, these other 2 groups, come see me. We got to present. Another one of my groups, my girl in my group, she had to go to a different class. These other 2 guys also had something to do. I had something to do. I was like, fuck this. You're saying that we are going... We walked up to him and we were like, hey, we gotta go. We can't present. We're just gonna turn it in. And he's like, he said this. This was exactly his face and his words and everything. But you had to present. Not my fucking fault. You have 0 scheduling abilities. And he threatened to fail us on the class if we didn't fucking present. So we were like, fuck it. We'll be late to class. Whatever. So we go up there. He's like, just skip like the last part of it. Because we were supposed to come up with an in-class activity. But everybody fucking laughed, so he said just don't do that part. Whatever. We'll get through it. Explain our situation later. We got through 5 slides on a 20-slide presentation. And he's like, sorry, I gotta go. Gotta get to the class. What the fuck were you thinking? How in God's name are you okay with threatening our fail us, but then 5 slides in, 5 fucking slides, one of which was the title slide, you're just like, that's good enough for me, and just fucking bolted. You left your D2L page logged in. I could have went in there and fucking gave myself a 4-point in the class. How fucking lazy are you? I have never wanted to slap somebody more than I did right then and there. But he got up too fast before I could do it. It was a waste of his time, obviously. It was a waste of our time for damn sure. It was a waste of the computer's time having to stay on and use electricity for that shit. And I can safely say, now that I'm graduated, now that I'm not going to need to take any more classes ever in my life, at this place or any other place, this right here is the most incompetent, annoying, and lazy professor I've ever had. Without a doubt. And I just could not. I was flabbergasted when he got up and walked out of the room after doing all that. Yeah. I would have never thought when I enrolled for this class, or even when I walked in the room day one, that it would ever be this bad. For a history of sports class. Anyway. That's all I gotta say. My final thoughts. If you see, just don't take this class. And more so, if a professor on day one says it's not going to be a Mickey Mouse class, it's 100% going to be a Mickey Mouse class, and you should do with that whatever you feel like. But it's going to be a Mickey Mouse class. So there you go. But this is my story time over. I want to hear from you guys, though. Have you ever had anybody this bad? You had similar situations like this? I want to hear your guys' stories now, so that we can therapeutically vent to each other. So, it's going to do it, though, guys. Stay tuned. Okay, let's go.